Found an old photo in a drawer tonight of a smile I barely know. He stood a little taller than before the undertow. His eyes weren't always searching for what he did wrong. He didn't second guess his worth or apologize in every song. Somewhere between your goodbye and all the nights I couldn't sleep, I traded who I used to be for promises you couldn't keep. I miss the man I was before you left, before I measured love and lost, before I learned to guard my chest and count the cost of every cross. He believed in open doors, didn't brace for what comes next. I miss the man I was before you left, before I lived inside regret. He used to laugh without thinking, didn't hear doubt in every tone, didn't read between the silence or feel alone and not alone. He trusted words at face value, didn't search for hidden ends, didn't fear that every forever would slowly start to bend. But heartbreak has a quiet way of rewriting who you are. It leaves its fingerprints on hope and turns your light a little dark. I miss the man I was before you left, before I questioned every truth, before I wore this armor tied like vulnerability was proof. He loved without a safety net, didn't need to intercept. Scar tissue and the caution signs, the lessons love can teach. Maybe strength is not becoming cold, but shunning every door. Maybe it's remembering that then and letting him live once more. I'm finding the man I was before you left, not the same but standing still. His words are now a little goods, but he remembers how to feel. He won't love blind or love in fear. He won't accept neglect. I'm finding the man I was before you left, and I won't let him disappear You said I changed like it was sudden, like I woke up someone new. But you never saw the shifting every time I bent for you. I traded pieces of my backbone for the comfort of your smile. Called it love and called it patience, stayed in place a little while. I used to speak without a tremble, used to stand without a doubt. But somewhere in the quiet battles, you slowly wore me out. The version of me you destroyed didn't leave in flames or noise. He faded in a compromise and swallowing his voice. He shrank inside your shadow till he barely filled the void. The version of me you destroyed was the strongest I employed. I stopped arguing my feelings just to keep the peace at night. Turned my anger into silence, turned my wrongs into your right. I laughed at jokes that cut too deep, said it's fine when it was not. I let you redraw every line of the boundaries I forgot. You called me sensitive and distant when I finally pulled away, but you built the distance brick by brick with every word you chose to say. The version of me you destroyed believed love meant enduring pain. Thought if you just held on tighter, everything would stay the same. He mistook survival for devotion, confused control with being loyal. The version of me you destroyed paid the cost of that turmoil. But here's the truth you never knew. You didn't break me all the way. You cracked the surface of my trust, but not the core that chose to stay. I'm digging through the rubble now, finding parts I thought were gone. He's bruised, but he's still breathing, and he's learning to move on. The version of me you destroyed isn't coming back the same. He won't beg to be enough or set himself on fire for flame. He's rebuilding with new boundaries, with a voice you can't avoid. The version of me you destroyed is the man I know and fixed the crack in your bedroom wall. You never noticed it was there. Learned how to cook your mother's soup just to show you I could care. I watched you chase your restless dreams while I stood steady in the back. You never saw the nights I stayed holding pieces of your doubt intact. I memorized the weight you carried so you wouldn't feel it all alone. You thought love was in the grand displays, but mine was in the quiet show. I loved you in ways you never saw, in the spaces between your fears, in the small it's okay I whispered when you were drowning in your tears. I gave you strength without a spotlight, held the door when you would fall. I loved you in ways you never saw, and that was the hardest part of all. I bit my tongue when you were angry, took the blame to keep the peace, Turn my storms into soft rain, so your thunder could release. I stayed up late to hear you breathe. When sleep refused your name, you never asked who kept the lag, but I was there just the same. You searched for fireworks and sparks, for love that made a scene, but mine was steady as your pulse, constant, quiet, unseen. I loved you in ways you never saw, in the pauses of your day, and every time I stepped aside, so your shine could find its way. I built you up with careful hands, while you looked beyond my call. I loved you in ways you never saw, like a shadow on the Maybe love that isn't led feels easy to ignore. Maybe I should have shouted more instead of guarding what we swore. But I thought you felt it in the air, in every steady breath we drew. I didn't know invisible love could be invisible to you. I loved you in ways you never saw, but I see it clearly now. Love should never beg for a sight, or bend to prove its vow. I won't disappear to be enough. I want strength to fix your call. I loved you in ways you never saw, and I deserve to be seen at painted all the walls your color, left my wood shades out in the rain, hung every dream we had together like pictures in a fragile frame. I learned your coffee order by heart, changed my schedule to your time. Turned every road I walked alone into a path where you'd be mine. I shifted pieces of myself to fit the space you make, called it compromise and love, while slowly letting parts of me fade. I built my world around you, brick by brick, breath by breath. Every morning started with your name, every night feared losing what was left. I made you the center of my sky and forgot how to stand on my own ground. I built my world around you, now I'm lost in what I found. kept your friends, I kept your plans, even when they weren't my own. Learned to laugh at things you loved, letting my old favorites go unknown. A hometown felt like foreign land when you said we had to leave. So I packed my roots inside a box just to make you believe. I'd sold myself that love meant giving, so there was nothing left to prove. But love shouldn't erase a person just to keep somebody from the move. I built my world around you, laid your gravity in every choice I ever made. Started with you standing there. I bent my orbit towards your light till I forgot my own sound. I built my world around you and let my walls fall down. Now I'm standing in the ruins of everything I rearranged, trying to remember who I was before my last name changed. Maybe love is meant to last, not take until you're through. I see the cost of disappearing just to stay close to you. I built my world around you, but I'm learning how to rebuild mine, finding pieces I abandoned, one quiet night at a time. You were once my only horizon, now I'm searching new ground. I built my world around you, but I won't let it break me She didn't take the picture frames, just turned them face down on the shelf. Left the curtains half drawn wide, like she was stepping out herself. Her coffee cup was on the table, lipstick faded on the rim. The house was full of little proofs that I was losing her to them. No raised voice, no final fight, no shattered glass across the floor. Just a gentle kind of ending, like we've been here once before. She left me in the quiet, where the echoes hit the hardest. No thunder in the sky, just a slow and steady darkness. Her goodbye was barely spoken, but it cut without a riot. She didn't break my heart out loud. She left me in the quiet. The clock kept ticking like a witness to something we both knew. The hallway lights stayed on all night, like it was waiting to. I sat where we would watch the rain and listen to the street. Every passing car convinced me she might turn back to me. But silence has a heavy weight, it settles in your chest. It doesn't scream or slam the door, it just refuses rest. She left me in the quiet, in the space between two breaths, where almost feels like memory and forever feels like less. just two people losing rhythm, one silence at a time. She left me in the quiet, and I'm still learning how to hear the sound of my own breathing without wishing she was near. I don't wait by open window, I don't chase the night to fight it, but some nights when it's too still, I feel her in the quiet. She left me in the quiet. She didn't take the picture frames. She didn't take the picture frames. She didn't take the picture frames. Didn't take the picture frames. She 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 didn't take the picture. Didn't take the picture frames. She 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 didn't take the picture. Didn't take the picture frames. I heard you moved on without me, from a friend who didn't know. You said your name like small talk, like it wouldn't hit me low. Said you're smiling in the photos, in a place I've never seen, standing close to someone new, like I was just a dream. I didn't ask for any details, but they came without a choice. Every word felt like the replay of a crack inside my voice. I heard you moved on without me, like our years were just a phase, like the nights we swore forever were just temporary days. You found it hard to hold already, while I'm still where we used to be. I heard you across the corner where we met. There's a coffee shop on Main Street. I haven't walked inside it yet. Your side of the bed is colder, but I'll leave it untouched still. Like maybe space is sacred, even after broken will. Ooh, I told myself I'd be okay if I ever heard the news, but healing sounds a lot like pride until it's tested by the truth. I heard you moved on without me, and it landed like a stone in the middle of my chest, where I thought I'd grown alone. I guess you found your closure, my I'm still searching for the key. I heard you moved on without me, like you were never moved by me. Maybe you were dreaming us long before the end. Maybe I was holding on to something you had already spent. I don't blame you for leaving, but I wish I'd known the day that while I was still loving you, you were already walking away. I heard you moved out without me, and I won't pretend I'm fine, but every breath I take tonight is one step closer to being mine. If you can love somebody new, then maybe one day I'll be free. I heard you moved on without me. Now I'm learning how to move me. You wrote forever in the margin of a letter folded twice. You said we laugh about our gray head, and our growing old was just advice. You circled dates on kitchen calendars, made promises in blue ink lines. Somewhere between always and later, you started drawing exit signs. I didn't see the shift at first, the way your eyes looked past my face. I was still building on your words while you were clearing out your space. That was when forever became alive, not loud, not cruel, just quietly thin. It's sleep between I love you and good night. It never found its way back in. We used to say it like a lie, like something time couldn't deny. But forever lasted to me then. The night forever became alive. Your suitcase there by the doorway, like getting numb before I bid. You said it's not about somebody else, but you couldn't meet my eyes when you said it. The house felt smaller in that moment, like the walls are closing in. All the plans we stacked together felt like paper in the wind. I asked you when it started fading. You said you didn't know, but love doesn't disappear in seconds. It leaves in stages slow. That was when forever became alive, when we'll be fine turned into space. When your hands stop reaching for mine, and distance took its place. We didn't crash, we didn't burn, we just let the silence multiply. That was the final truth. The night forever became alive. Maybe forever was just a word, too heavy for our heads. Maybe we love the idea of it more than we love the tense. I don't hate you for the leaving, I just hate what we let die. How something once so certain could unravel without a cry. Now I don't say forever like me, I measure every promise twice, because I've seen how easy it is for eternity to disguise what feels unbreakable in the moment, can fade without a fight. Forever isn't what you say, it's what survived the night. And ours didn't survive the night, when forever became We were sitting on the edge of the bed, TV flickering blue on the wall. You were scrolling through nothing at all, like you weren't there with me at all. I asked if you were okay, you said yeah, just tired tonight. But your voice didn't reach my side, it stopped somewhere short of right. There was no fight, no shattered glass, no cruel words we couldn't take back. Just two people in the same small room, feeling something fade to black. It was the night love turned into silence. No thunder, no dramatic goodbye, just space between our sentences, growing wider than either of us tried. Your hand was resting next to mine, but it felt 1,000 miles away. It was the night love turned into silence, and neither it to stay. The kitchen light was left on late, dishes soaking in the sink. We moved around like strangers do, careful not to feel or think. You brushed past me in the hallway, didn't linger like before. And that small ordinary moment hurt more than any slammed door. I kept waiting for a breaking point, for tears to rain good to right. But sometimes love doesn't explode, it just slowly stops alive. That was the night love turned into silence, when forever lost its sound. We spoke about tomorrow's plans, but something wasn't there. We found your eyes avoided needing mine, like truth was too close to say. That was the night love turned into silence and quietly slipped away. I used to think the end would burn, set fire to everything we built, but it dimmed like a dying bulb and left us standing in the guilt. No villain, no one to blame, just hearts too tired to fight, two shadows in a shared address, turning off the light. Now I replay that silent evening, the calm before we knew that love can end without a sound. It's still through you. If I could go back to that room, I'd find the words we couldn't find before the night love turned into silence and left our voices behind. The window's cracked to let the night in, but it's colder than before. Your shoes aren't by the hallway, they're not waiting by the door. I keep waking up at 3 a.m., reaching to your side, but the sheets are flat and honest, there's no one left to hide. They say it gets easier with time, but time just stretches thin. Every breath feels borrowed now, like air against my skin. I'm still learning how to breathe alone, how to fill my lungs without your name, how to let the silence settle in without setting off the pain. Every inhale feels like letting go, every exhale feels like stone. I'm still learning how to breathe alone in a house that's not our home. this morning, then pour the extra down the sink. Watch the steam rise like a memory, disappear before I think. Your picture's face down on the dresser, but I know it's still there, like your voice inside my head, floating through the air. I walked past places we would sit and tell myself I'm fine, but even oxygen feels heavy when you're crossing through my mind. I'm still learning how to breathe alone, how to sleep without your chest, how to make it through the night without your heartbeat in my rest. Every breath is unfamiliar, like a life I've never known. I'm still learning how to breathe alone, since the day you left me on my own. Didn't know love was there till you took it when you left. Now I count each fragile breath like something I have left. Maybe one day it won't hurt, maybe lungs can rearrange, maybe breathing won't remind me of the shape of what has changed. I'm still learning how to breathe alone, but I made it through tonight. Yeah, still burns a little, but I'm standing upright. I don't need to hold my chest to keep my heart from turning stone. I'm still learning how to breathe alone and slowly making it my I learned the shape of your silence, the curve of your guarded replies. Memorized how your shoulders would rise when you swallowed your pride. I waited outside your apartment in rain that was colder than June. You said you just needed time, but time never needed me to. I kept making room for your leaving, like it was a guest passing through. But the longer I held on to home, the smaller I started to feel next to you. I was the boy who stayed too long, holding a door already closed, writing our names in fogged up glass long after the warmth had froze. I gave you chances you never asked for. I called it love, you called it wrong. I was the boy who stayed too long, when I should have known you were gone. You were gone. I fixed the crack in your kitchen wall while ours spread across the floor. You thanked me like I was a friend, not someone you loved before. I laughed at jokes that hurt my chest, pretended the distance was small. You slept facing the other side like I wasn't there. making the shift overnight. But love isn't meant to be begged for, held like a fist in a fight. I was the boy who stayed too long, counting the cracks and the paint, waiting for words that never came, tracing the shape of restraint. You walked away in careful steps, no storm, no siren song. I was the boy who stayed too long, thinking endurance was strong. Maybe I loved you louder, maybe I loved you blind, maybe I thought if I stayed, you'd remember I was mine. But staying isn't always brave, sometimes it's fear in disguise. And I see it clear in the mirror now, in the rain, my own tired eyes. I was the boy who stayed too long, but I won't be him again. I won't keep standing in half-lit rooms, waiting for love to begin. If you ever wonder why I left, why I finally moved on, it's because I learned the cost of being the boy who stayed too You leaned in closer than usual, your hands were colder than before. There was something in the way you held me, like you were already at the door. Your lips stayed longer on mine, but your heart felt miles away. I tasted salt between the lines of words you didn't say. You traced my jaw like you were memorizing every scar and every thread. I should've known by how you held me, you were saying goodbye instead. You kissed me like a goodbye, soft enough to make me doubt, slow enough to feel like love. Was a tremble in your breathing, like you'd made up your mind. You kissed me like a goodbye and left the truth behind. We stood there in the kitchen light, your shadow split in two. One still wrapped around my waist, one already leaving the room. I asked if everything was fine, you smiled and said of course, but your fingers slipped from mine like they'd rehearsed the chords. You brushed your thumb across my cheek, like sealing something close. And in the quiet after that, I felt the distance grow. You kissed me like a goodbye, like a chapter ending slow. folded your sweater on the edge of the bed, like you were coming back after clearing your head. Your toothbrush still leaning against mine in the glass, like love was a habit that somehow would last. The hallway light flickered, you didn't look scared. You said, I just need space, like space wasn't a tear. I watched your reflection shrink into the street, while the sound of your footsteps erased me beneath. I thought you'd turn around at the gate, say something reckless, say you made a mistake, but the engine turned over, the radio played, and that was the night you didn't stay. That was the night you didn't stay. Muslim doors, no words to blame, just quiet leaving in headlights glow, and me with nowhere left to go. I held the air where you had been, like I could breathe you back again. That was the night you didn't stay, and something in me drove away. Coffee you poured, still in the sink, a half-written note with a line crossed in ink. Your side of the closet is suddenly white, like someone erased half of my life. I tried calling once, but I let it ring, then trust what my breaking voice might bring. So I sat on the floor where your suitcase had been, tracing the marks and the carpet it left in. I replayed a frame in my mind on repeat, your hand on the handle, your keys at your feet. You didn't look angry, you didn't look torn, just someone already gone and forgone. It was the night you chose the door over the words we said before. No thunder crash, no dramatic scene, just distance sliding in between. I told myself you needed time, but time just proved you weren't still mine. It was the night you let me see love can't leave this quietly. I used to think heartbreak would scream, break plates, make a scene, but sometimes it whispers your name and leaves you alone with the blame. Now every night feels like that night, your shadow fading from my side. I learned how silence really sounds when no one's left to turn around. I don't chase headlights anymore, I TV's on, but neither of us see it. The light flickers on your face. You're scrolling through a world without me, while I'm staring at the space. We used to talk until the sun came up. Now we measure words like they cost too much. Your coffee's cold beside the sink. We don't say what we both think. There's your crack running down the bedroom wall. I swear it wasn't there last fall. Or maybe it's just easier to blame the pain instead of us for change. We stopped reaching across the bed, stopped meaning half the things we said, started sleeping back to back like strangers dressed in black. I watched us die in slow motion. No crash, no fire, just erosion. Like waves pulling sand from under our feet, till there was nothing left to keep. No screaming wolves, no slam doors, just silence flooding through the floors. We didn't lose it in one night. I watched us fade out of sight. You canceled plans we used to make, said you were tired, wide awake. Your laughter turned polite and thin, like it didn't quite reach your skin. I tried to fix what I could see, cooked your favorite recipe, but you barely touched the plate. Said you'd already end. The suitcase came down from the shelf, but you said it was for someone else. Still something in the air felt gone, like a song without a song. I kissed like it was just routine, no spark behind the in-between. I felt your head inside of mine, but it wasn't intertwined. I watched us die in slow motion, Pearl has apologies across the emotions. Through our fine, said way too fast, throw future plans that didn't last. We turned into a quiet room where love once made everything bloom. No thunderstorm, no big explosion. I watched us die in slow motion. Oh, maybe love don't always shatter. Maybe it just grows a little flatter, loses color, loses speed, until they can't stand on its feet. I would have fought if you had cried, if you had screamed or picked a side, but you just slowly pulled away on ordinary day. I watched us die in slow motion, throw faded looks and lost emotion, pro tears and separate drives, pro barely living separate lives. If heartbreak had a quiet sound, that'd be the way we're ending now. The final scene, no grand goodbye, just two hearts learning how to die. And the TV's on, but I don't care. Your side of the closet's bare, no wreckage left to show the crime, just love undone by time. TV's on, the 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 TV's on. The TV's on, the TV's on. The TV's on, the TV's on. The TV's on. The TThe's on. The TV's on. The TV's on. The TV's on. There's a quiet hanging over this room tonight, and even the clock sounds different without you. I keep staring at the space by the window where you used to stand and tie your hair. You came to me when I was steady and cold, careful with every word I would hold. I built my walls like they were home, safe inside my comfort zone. You laughed and said I looked afraid, like love was just a game I never played. You touched my chest and felt the doubt, and somehow drew the silence out. You stayed up talking on the kitchen floor about what we both were searching for. I told you I don't fall that deep. You said the talk was cheap. You move closer, no retreat, and put your pulse against my heartbeat. In that moment I agreed to give you all of me. Yeah. Your love taught me how to bleed and was weak and something strong may never speak. But you showed me hearts can break and still survive the quake. Now I'm learning what it means to sit alone with what I feel, to understand that something real is worth the way it heals. And the apartment's quiet in a different way tonight, and even the refrigerator hum don't sound right. Your shadow used to move along this wall. No, it's just my echo in the hall. There's a dent in the pillow where you used to lay. I turn it over but it still won't change. Your hair ties wrapped around my wrist, like it's the one thing I can't resist. I found your note inside my coat, these simple lines that you once wrote. Don't get lost in your own head, and that's where I live instead. We were reckless in a sacred way, turning ordinary nights into escape. Every touch felt like proof that I was more when I was with you. Last time I felt alive was with you, locking in the doorway, dripping wet at 2:30. Ran through the storm like we had nothing to lose. Yeah, the last time I felt alive was with you. My heart wasn't heavy, it was light as truth. Every color in the sky burned brighter blue. No, I wake up just to make it through. The last time I felt alive was with you. And I try to fill the silence with TV noise, try to drown your memory with other voices, but every face just fades to gray. And I remember the way you'd say my name. There's a bar downtown where we used to go, and they still play our song, but I don't anymore. When I saw your reflection in the glass last week, it turns out it was just me looking weak. You said sometimes love runs dry, and even when nobody lied, and I guess we gave it all we had, still losing you feels that bad. And the last time I felt alive was that night, your suitcase waiting by the porch light, and you kissed my cheek like it would be alright, but something in your eyes said goodbye. And my pulse was racing, my hands went cold, trying to be brave, trying to be bold, but courage broke when I watched you move, and the last of me walked out with you. No, I'm learning how to sit with pain, let it wash over me like rain. And not every love is meant to stay, and some are here to show the way. Maybe I'll find that spark again, in a different smile, in a different friend. Right now, every road I choose leads back to loving you. The last time I felt alive was in your arms, safe from doubt and false alarms, like the world made sense for once in my life, like every wrong had turned out right. And my heartbeat thundered in my chest, like I had finally found my rest. Now this is what it means to lose, and I was most alive with you. And the apartment's quiet, but I understand. Some love slip right through your hands. I'm still here, just passing through. Since the last time I felt alive.
you.